Any questions, please?
So, could you possibly throw some light on the phenomenon whereby souls are affected by, say, blessings from the clothes of the righteous person, like for instance the promised Messiah, and also in the other direction where the soul is sorry?
Are also repelled by evil.
Well, not repelled, but influenced by, say, sitting in the company of some people whose thoughts are righteous, although they're not in contact. So both these phenomena.
This is again a question pertaining to the region of paranormal or parapsychological. There are growing number of scientists now who believe that forces which are as yet inexplicable are working in mind, for which apparently no medium has yet been detected. It's not the normal radiation anyway. But what you think and how you think somehow influences the people around. This is a phenomenon on which further investigations are being undertaken now in various countries of the world, including England, particularly in Cambridge. There is a seat for such investigations. But whether they come to the right conclusion or wrong, we are not concerned. This is a religious experience. It is not a theory. A religious experience. So whatever explanation they find for that experience or whether to deny it, we are not concerned about that. The pure scientific approach is you should not deny evidence or try to subjugate it to your preconceived ideas or theories. Get led by the evidence and try to solve how it happened. So with us, it is an experience that those who think evilly or act evilly, they develop an aura of evil influence around them. Their whole mannerism sheds evil influence, and they are recognizable immediately. It's impossible for the righteous person to be mistaken with the evil person. An evil person is an evil person and he is distinguishable. But sometimes there are hypocrites who behave in a manner of a pious person, yet they are not pious. This is a fact. But this influence which you are talking about, that does not tell a lie. An evil person, even if he is a hypocrite and he tries to behave like a pious person, he does not spell that influence of goodness around him. This is called uvate krutsia in religious terminology. To come close to a person and then know that there is truth and be influenced. And this has been witnessed en masse, large scale, by those people who came into contact with the founder of Islam, Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And again this was witnessed by people who went to Hazrat Masih Maud. They had some evil habits, for instance, which could not be shed by years of determination and effort. People are known to have gone to every big person they knew who could heal them spiritually, but they failed. And once they went to Masih Maud, just by sitting for a while with him, brought about a revolution in them. This is the influence that we know. And this is created by man himself. It does not come from above. A righteous person begins to create an aura of righteousness around him. So does the evil person. So it's a phenomena which pertains to what you call soul, or the inner being of man. That is not definable. In fact, some people give it a different name, a life force or whatever the name you give. That is an indivisible entity of man, which is neither mind, brain, nor heart, nor the circulation, nor the body, yet that thing which says I, which behaves with an ego, which directs things, which in fact rules the mind and tells him to behave in a manner which would serve this purpose of that me. That is what is soul, and that is what is responsible for creation of that part. It's a very powerful being. And the scientists, particularly those who are concerned with the phenomena of brain, are now beginning, among them highest scholars, highly respectable scientists, they are now beginning to believe that there is something else to man which can neither be described through the phenomena of brain nor through any other physical phenomena, but that is the ultimate of existence, which is me or I. That is unbreakable. This is what cannot be created by computer or anything else either. So that is the source of that influence you are talking about. First it gets ennobled, then it radiates something around it of that nobility which has been acquired by that through actions, human actions and human thoughts. Any other question, please? Yes, yes. The little boy is most welcome. Will you break down to your height? Somebody should give you that. Okay, so right.
I'd like to ask, what position do you put your feet when you're at the Hatha position?
What position do you put your feet in the Hatha position?
Didn't you notice? Didn't you observe?
Position do you put your feet in?
That's right. After Isha prayer, I leave after Isha prayer. During Isha prayer, you stand behind me and wait a little bit. No, you're asking about my feet during Attahiyat, not during Sajda. So when you sit, you can observe my feet. Instead of my giving you demonstration here, when I'm actually in that position, you can observe. Right? Why is it so why has this excited your curiosity so much? You don't know? Come and sit and try to sit in position of Attahiyat, then I'll tell you the right way. Facing Sonori Sahib, sit in Attahiyat. Facing Sonori Sahib, the other way. Now, sit in Attahiyat. I think it's the gene problem, not the problem of knowledge. आपको ठीक कराएगा जरा, नवारी साहब?
One feet should be like that. This one, put this one like, and this one here. Two should like that. This should also come. Leave it like that.
It's rather awkward, difficult with genes, isn't it? You feel too tight. That's right, yes.
So this tight. No,
not like this.
This right side. And this one like.
Yes, sit on the foot in this horizontal position.
Yes, right.
Left foot on the horizontal position and the right foot on the upright position. Right?
So let's start now.
Sam, come on. अस्सलाम वालेकुम, क्या हाल है आपका? क्या नाम है आपका? मैं आपको उठा सकता हूँ? उठा सकता हूँ? मैं कोशिश करता हूँ शायद उठा सकता हूँ। माशाअल्लाह। You're half the weight of your grandfather. How are you? उर्दू बोलती है, उर्दू अंग्रेजी
इंग्लिश सब कुछ बोलते हैं।
सब कुछ है, अंग्रेजी उर्दू सब कुछ। कितने बहन भाई हैं तुम्हारे? How many brothers and sisters have you?
No sister.
Two, including you. Or apart from it?
After.
What are the names of those two? Aftab and Tariq. Yes. And they're older to you, elder to you, or you? Younger?
रफीक का लड़का है तो उसको भी भाई कहती है.
अच्छा.
एक भाई है इसका.
His cousin. Aftab is your real brother. Huh? And is he elder?
No, younger.
Younger?
छोटा है.
How young? कितना छोटा है?
1 साल.
साइज में या उम्र में? Who loves you more, your grandfather or your grandmother? Daddy or your grandfather? Who loves you more?
दादा.
Daddy किसको कहते हैं?
दादा.
Daddy तो अब्बा को कहते हो? कहते हैं अब्बू दादा करते हैं काम. दादा नहीं करते इतना है, राइट? ठीक है ना?
स्कूल जाती है.
Or any questions? Yes, another young boy.
Assalamualaikum Hazur. My teacher told me to ask this question.
Your teacher is?
Now Muslims in any occasions do they use candles?
Do they use candles?
Candles for what?
Any occasion. For any occasion.
On any occasion, you can use candles. Why not? I mean, there is no reason why you shouldn't use candles. Islam is not against candles.
No, like birthday ones like that. That's something special. Can they use candles?
Yes, why not? There is no reason why. An expression of pleasure can be made through lighting candles. Because it's a symbol of light. So no objection should be raised against that. If somebody does it, automatically as a free expression, automatic expression of pleasure or jubilation. But if you begin to pay too much stress on these things and enter into formalities, and it becomes difficult for the whole people to maintain such things, that is forbidden in Islam. That attitude, not the candles themselves. For instance, in Qadian, there was a time when during the day of birth of Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa in Qadian we used to hold chirag, and all the houses were lit up, and in those days there were not candles but small diyas. I don't know how it can be translated.
Oil lamps.
Oil lamps of earthenware, made of earthen material. It's a sort of oil lamp used perhaps only in India, not in other countries. So you used to put rapeseed oil in that, rapeseed oil, and it took us many days for preparing. All the children were involved. So after a few years, Hazrat Muslim noticed that it was becoming in itself a rasm, as we call it, a tradition which is not a religious part of Islam, but it is being observed with religious fervor. That is an addition and a burden to the society, while Islam does not promote such things. So he forbade us to do that, and then we ceased doing it. So the spirit of Islam is that if out of a natural expression sometimes you indulge in these things, you are not forbidden. But when you turn it into a religious ceremony, while it is not a religious ceremony, and the people are made to follow it like a rite, then these things should be discouraged and rooted out, in fact, sometimes. I hope you follow all this. Good. Please.
Assalamualaikum. Hazur, I want to ask question about Guru Sharif.
From Roshi we become to know Durud Sharif, Allama Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. From Roshi we become to know that God has committed some mercy to Ibrahim, Hazrat Ibrahim and his sisters of Ibrahim. Would you please kindly throw light what mercy that God has committed on his sisters of Ibrahim and Hazrat Ibrahim? And we are praying until now.
The sisters of Hazrat Ibrahim. But the progeny. All is not ancestors. All is the children or the children of children or the followers. Religious followers are also called Al. The greatest mercy that was shown upon him was that Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, peace be upon him, was chosen from among his lineage, from among his progeny. And no greater mercy could be conceived.
Again, we are praying now for some mercy. That is promised mercy.
And many others. All those who are recipients of rewards from Allah fall into the same category. And the rewards fall into 4 categories. The prophets, the Siddiq, the Shuhada and the Salihin. So when you say Durood, it means one of these rewards. Even if the lowest reward is shown, that prayer is accepted to some degree. It doesn't mean that all at once, all the rewards should be given to everybody. So some become shadow prophets, although officially they are not appointed. They're treated like in stature they achieve that of the prophet. The stature they achieve is that of the prophet, and they are treated by Allah in the same manner. Yet they are not appointed ones, and they are not called prophets. So this mercy is an unlimited phenomenon, both in space and in time. Large numbers of Muslims are benefited by this durood in every generation, and forever it will continue to go on. Now, would you like to ask a question before Mr. Bashir takes the floor?
Yes, please. My question is not, I have many theological questions, but it will take longer time. My question has more relation to, I am going back tomorrow to what I call my country. And I have the luck of sharing the friendship of many of the members of the Ahmadi community. At the same time, I have to inform to many of the people that are working with me and other persons how we're going to act on a daily basis in order to understand the families that are there. What would be your suggestion to, what would be the important things to make it clear for the ones that are going to work and live with them in order to get a better understanding and benefit of their income?
In fact, they already know what I expect of them, but I'll repeat some salient features of my instructions. The fact is that we expect them to behave as best specimens of human beings. As far as their relationship to the rest of the society is concerned, they should behave as the best specimens, no less, of human beings. And the society must not be afraid of any harm coming their way from them. Number one. Number two, if they have an opportunity to help and serve others, they should not miss that opportunity. They should try to be that which has been expected of them by Allah and which has been made character of Islamic community has been mentioned in a short statement, yet very deep and very widely meaning. That statement is, Kuntum khaira ummatin ukhrijat lin-nasi. You are the best people which were ever raised. But not that alone, because you serve the cause of humanity. You are made for service. So the reason is also explained. As long as you are service-minded and you serve the human beings, you are the best people. The moment you fall short of that expectation, despite the fact that you apparently remain Muslims, you are not the best people. So it's not an arbitrary claim by the Holy Quran. It's a claim supported by the evidence, and it is so obvious that even those who do not believe in the Holy Quran have to believe in this statement. That as long as you are serving the cause of others, the benefits flow from your direction to the other directions. You are the best people. So tell them to behave like the best people, not like the worst people. Now they are the ambassadors of Ahmadiyyat, particularly in these critical times. If they misbehave in that society which does not know anything of Ahmadiyyat or Islam, they will create a very repulsive image of the community, with the result that people who run away from them, in fact, they would also be running away from Ahmadiyyat, taking them as specimens. So it's a very great responsibility on their shoulders. While in Pakistan they might have misbehaved here and there and fallen short of expectations, but the community there is so large that people know the community. And a few exceptions just does not change the image of the community. Even so much so that the wide-scale propaganda carried out by the government in this national media and press and publication of books against Ahmadiyyat at the expense of the government, committed things not denied by the government either. All these efforts have not been successful in changing the opinion of Pakistanis about the Ahmadiyyat, despite the fact that there are exceptions. Because we are there in large numbers, and in large numbers there cannot be any deception. You know at the large numbers, and when they behave as a community, you know what the behavior is. So one or two exceptions or even hundreds of exceptions don't make any difference. But in Sweden it is very different. Those who have gone there, they are in small numbers. And the people there don't know the character of the community. So thus they will come into contact with one and judge the entire community by judging that one. So their mistake would become the mistake committed by the entire community in the eyes of the Swedish people. So it's a very grave responsibility. So if you want to convey anything from me, this is the most important thing which I want to convey to you. Any other questions? If Mr. Bashir here permits you. Yes, please.
Until recently, when I joined prayers after the Imam had finished the first rakat, immediately after the first salam, I used to stand up. And when offering Eid prayers and when offering Janazah prayers, I used to unfold the right arm first and the left arm afterwards, until I heard a cassette of Huzur's at Karachi. Because I have an injured back, I normally sit at the back, and I find that many of my friends and brethren in London are not quite aware of what the correct procedure is. Perhaps you would kindly explain.
The fact is that from namaz, that is prayer, you are relieved only after the second Assalamu Alaikum. There are two Assalamu Alaikums involved, one to the right side and one to the left. and you are not partially released. That half your body is released by saying right hand Assalamu Alaikum, and the left hand body is released by saying the left hand Assalamu Alaikum. This is something completely foreign to Islam. Only an erroneous practice witnessed in India and Pakistan by some Muslims. But this is not the correct behavior. When the Imam says Assalamu Alaikum, Assalamu Alaikum, and completed the Assalamu Alaikum on the left side, neither he is relieved from prayer nor those who follow him. So if somebody has joined a prayer halfway through and he has to complete the remaining of his prayer which he missed earlier, he should not stand up until the Imam is relieved from the prayer, because he is a follower. If Imam is binding, he is also binding. If Imam is bound, he is also bound. Whatever is binding upon the Imam is also binding upon the Muqtadi, that is the follower. So, until the Imam has said the second Assalamu Alaikum and is free to move, the followers are not free to move either. Similarly, when you say Assalamu Alaikum in Janazah prayer, your right hand is not released until you are released. You are not treated in broken parts by Islam. You are treated as a whole. So because you are released only after the second Assalamu Alaikum, so you should not start releasing yourself from prayer as if the right hand is liberated because I have said the right Assalamu Alaikum, and the left will be liberated after I have said the left hand Assalamu Alaikum. This is, as I said, is an erroneous practice somehow which entered Islam in later parts of the history of Islam, say many hundred years perhaps, because we only witness it not among all the Muslim sects, among some sects and not everywhere among those sects, in some parts. For instance, in Karachi this is the practice, perhaps it came from UP, but in the Punjab, most non-Ahmadis don't do that either. They wait until the Imam has said Assalamu Alaikum to both sides and then they leave both hands together. But in Karachi I noticed that they said like this, Assalamu Alaikum, and then second Assalamu Alaikum. Thank you for reminding me, because you are quite right that many people don't know these small things.
I did not pursue until I listened to you.
Yes, please. Salim, why not give him another opportunity to ask another question, because he will be leaving tomorrow, is our guest.
Yes,
please, if you want to. This is why I am not encouraging Mr. Bashir Yat either.
That's why I'm hiding now.
It's not hiding behind
As you know, I am completely ignorant about the way of praying, and I'm completely ignorant actually about Islam. And it's my purpose to learn as much as possible. So I have two questions. First, the feeling that I felt in this few days is something that it's something new for me. This friendship, atmosphere of nearness. So I think something is about to happen. So my question is, in order to receive the message that I feel is coming, what should I open more, my mind or my heart? That is my first question. My second question is that there's a whole ceremony to pray. How important, how guilty am I if I try to do it and I do it wrong? Those are my two questions.
The first question is very difficult to answer, because the relationship between heart and mind is quite similar to the relationship between egg and hen. Which was before? It's very difficult to determine. sometimes it is the heart which is directly attracted by an influence, and then mind is in a better frame to understand the philosophy behind or the ideology. Sometimes it is the conviction of the mind first and then follows the heart. Automatically it begins to have that emotion which is ultimately translated into love. So both influence each other. Sometimes simultaneously, sometimes something happens there or there, but for a foreign or outside observer, objective observer, it's very difficult to determine what happened before. As much it is difficult to advise where to begin with, because it is not the advice which is going to work. It is the making of the person which dictates these terms. Some people are influenced more by the heart, and once their heart is convinced, their phenomena of the brain is activated in that direction, and it's so easy for them to follow that philosophy. And sometimes it's the other way around. Some people are very rigid in heart, and they have to be rationally convinced. But the ideal thing is for both things to be convinced. I mean, just a single conviction will only be a half conviction. There are people I know, even among Ahmadis, who are very rigid, who believe in Ahmadiyya, but like you believe in mathematics. That's that. They will be correct, but not beyond. But religion is not all that. And there are others who are all heart for Ahmadiyya, but they don't understand what Ahmadiyya is. So sometimes at the time of mental crisis, that is to say, when they are tried and they must know the truth of that religion through conviction as well, otherwise their emotions are tested. Then they fail. Those who are just in the emotional attachment, a time comes when their emotions are hit by some calamity. So then they say, all right, if it was good, it was right, why should I suffer emotionally? While previously they could sacrifice everything for the sake intentionally, because they were governed by their emotions. But some mishap takes place in the family, some dear one dies, and then they are tried. If they have not had that conviction of mind to sustain them through that crisis, they will be lost. So both things are important like two legs. It is like asking which foot should I put forward first. Any foot. But the second must follow. That's my advice. As far as the second question is concerned, in fact, however wrong you be in trying to do something new with good intentions, you will never be wrong in the eyes of Allah. There are people I have noticed, new converts, say Assalam, before saying Assalamu alaikum, they begin talking and looking at others and so on. Like it happened before I left Spain 2 years ago. A lawyer from somewhere came there who had known some Ahmadis before, but had not yet accepted. So he came there an old person. So he met me, and after a while he said that I want to accept Islam and I want to get initiated now. I said, okay, most welcome. So after he got initiated, we started saying prayer. And his prayer was very interesting. He was looking at sometimes at the ladies and those people who came and started talking and asking things, So his behavior was very interesting, but unfortunately some ladies started laughing. I was very angry with them later. I said, don't behave like this. You have been very discourteous. And maybe Allah was enjoying that prayer much more than the prayers of those people who were just formally doing it. So it was his first prayer when the child begins to move, his mistakes make him the more love in the eyes of the parents, not the less love, more cared for. If they falter, the people, the parents, help him much more, and their hearts fly out to him. And when they falter in their speech and listen, they love him the more. Sometimes they themselves imitate the children. So this is exactly how Allah treats His creatures. So you can't commit a wrong. You can't go wrong anyway if your intentions are right. Any other questions from you or from anyone else, please? Is it time now? No. We still have 5 minutes to go. So if Mr. Bashir here is now permitted, I hope we'll be able to finish the business within 10 minutes.
I have typed already. I don't know whether it's a lengthy question or a question is small, but answer you can.
It's up to you. Ask a small question and the answer, or a big question and a small answer.
So this is why
You know where to in your pocket.
I have got a suggestion which I want to write to you. So I have a suggestion which I was thinking to write to you. But if you want over here,
Better write it.
yes,
Ask your question.
yes. May I request Hazur to kindly give us some names and in short their achievements of some of famous Muslims who contributed to various sciences, for example maths and medicine.
You better read an article by Dr. Salam, which he wrote for a ceremony held in Morocco, and also in one of the countries of Sheikhdom, perhaps it was Abu Dhabi. He spoke last year and he wrote a very good article on this subject. So I've got a copy with me. So if you want it to be copied and to be delivered to you, I will see to it that it is done. But it will take me some time to find out where it is. It's lying in a
have to print it loose in the areas written out in the Muslim background.
And we have already been printed.
Yes.
So it has been made easy. Very easy for you.
Allah stop the relationship.
Right. It's a very good article, a short one. In a nutshell, he treats the history of great Muslim scholars and thinkers and physicians and scientists and so on. It's a beautiful article. I was very happy to read it. Yes, Ms. Lee.
During the battle of Uhud, Hazrat Rasul Karim sallallahu alayhi wa sallam's teeth were broken, and Awais Karni broken his teeth because of love with the Zul. The Shias made this reason for their martyrdom. Would you please kindly explain this? Yes. Rasul then brought the good news to him that he go to Jannah.
Not because of this.
Please explain.
What he sent him salam for one reason, and that was that he loved Hazrat sallallahu alaihi wasallam extremely. He wanted to pay him a visit and see him. Yet he sacrificed this extreme personal desire to his duty to his mother. The mother was ill. She needed attention and service. So that was the greatest sacrifice that he could offer. For the sake of duty, the sentiments were slaughtered. That was the reason why Ahmad sallallahu alaihi wasallam sent his salam to him and counted him among his companions despite the fact that he had not seen him. Now, as far as the breaking of teeth is concerned, if it is an established fact, it is not permissible in Islam. Only it could be permissible to people who have gone mad in love. And there Allah knows best whether somebody committed it in full senses or in a mood of complete madness, which is sometimes caused by love. So in case of a West Kavni, it could have only happened in that state of mind, not before that. And anybody who does it in his full senses and in his full control is a criminal in the eyes of Islam. It is not permissible in Islam. Because it's a sort of committing suicide on a shorter level. And Islam is against it.
Because this reason was given by Shia, the speech of Shia.
Give them this reason now. I can't agree, but I am giving you a reason. Give them back. Right analysis in itself is enough conviction. If the analysis is correct, you have the force of conviction. They may not accept it, but their hearts would begin to censure them from then on. That person was right. That is our duty, just to convey the right thing. You may not win the battle of wits, battle of exchange of words, but one thing is certain, that if you are right, that righteousness of yours is going to carry weight, ultimately if not immediately. So let's raise this. That would be the last question. And would you introduce yourself?
I'm Asif Ashuri. Asif Ashuri.
Your family, your parents?
My father's name is Muhammad Sharif Ashuri.
I see.
What I'd like to ask is, why are the Jews a cursed race?
What?
A cursed race.
Why are Jews cursed?
Cursed race?
Yeah.
Not a race. That is something very different. Jewish race is not cursed anywhere in the Holy Quran. The Jewish attitude which developed and culminated in extreme cruelty to the most innocent man of their age, that is cursed. So the Jews have been spoken very kindly in Islam, in the Holy Quran. The Holy Quran says that among Jews there are certain people who are very honest and very righteous. And those among the Jews who act righteously and honestly upon Bible, the book that was revealed for them, they will be treated kindly by Allah. So with those very clear-cut injunctions in the Holy Quran, how could you say that the Jews are a cursed race? The cussedness belongs to a certain attitude of cruelty and hard-heartedness towards goodness, which is found among the Jews, particularly of the time of David, peace be upon him, and of the time of Jesus Christ, peace be upon him. But the Holy Quran says that they were cursed at the times of David as well as Jesus Christ. And when you say Maghzube alayhim, that means the unrighteous people from among the Jews. And when you read those who deviated from the right path from among the Christians, it only applies to those who deviated from the right path. Because Maghzub Lahim is not the name of the Jewish race at all. Maghzub Lahim is a quality described, a characteristic. So if that characteristic is found among the Christians, among the Muslims, among the Hindus, they will fall under the spell of this verse. So this is why names are not mentioned in Surah Fatiha, in the verse which you are pointing out. Where names are mentioned, there no curse indiscriminately is thrown upon anybody or any religion. The Holy Quran at times speaks very highly even of other religions. Sabi'in, who did not belong to the people of the book at all. Yet it says that those among them who believed in Allah and acted righteously, their reward is with Allah. This is the grand teaching of the Holy Quran. It should not be misinterpreted and turned into a very narrow-minded teaching against the Jews. How would you convert them? If at the same time you say that you are a cursed people, you are a cursed race, it's all right. If you are cursed, then this is your way, that's our. It's against the teaching of the Holy Quran. So you must understand these things correctly. Maghzub Lahim is a situation applicable mostly to the Jews, because according to the Holy Quran, they were cursed at the hands of their own prophets with certain wrong attitudes and wrong actions. So with that qualification, if a person is non-Jewish, he will also fall under the same curse. This is what I'm trying to make you understand. I think it's time for prayer now. Somebody should